that the president of Zimbabwe has resigned. Robert Mugabe has drawn a curtain, a line on his 37-year rule of Zimbabwe.
His future is unclear, his whereabouts unclear. Remember that he was under house arrest. That was confirmed by our own president, being held by the military. And that's how this all started, with a military intervention, which the military leaders themselves have been loath to call a coup. They're rather calling it Operation Restore Order. And there was a lot of questions about how this would end, given Robert Mugabe's seemingly defiance in the face of resistance from the military, from his own party and from the public. That's why impeachment process is kicked off today. That was the way it was going to happen in Parliament. The military saying that Operation Restore Order was still underway. And then the news broke very late this afternoon, early in the evening, that President Robert Mugabe had voluntarily resigned.
A short while ago, we spoke to Pastor Evan Mawarire. Now, you see a lot of people wearing flags at the moment. He started the hashtag This Flag movement, and that galvanized society for a long, long time, and it seemed to have run out of fizzle for a while. But the army, and the image that you're seeing there, perhaps in the end was the final piece in the puzzle to make sure that Robert Mugabe went out. I think when a post-mortem is done, a lot of infighting within the army probably led to the scenes that we're seeing now, because once the army withdrew its support of the president, his situation was untenable. The soldiers, these scenes, Francis, let me tell you, this is unprecedented, that the army and the citizens would be cuddling, would be holding each other's hands, would be seeing them as heroes, because these guys were the enforcers of the Mugabe regime. And so in many ways we're seeing things that we've never seen before. A different president in Zimbabwe. It looks like Emmerson Mnangagwa will probably be that man. He is most likely to arrive tomorrow and be sworn in as soon as possible. But for the army to be seen as heroes in Zimbabwe, I don't know anybody who's alive who's been alive since 1980 who would ever say that they would have seen these kinds of scenes. Well, one person who certainly has lived through all of this is Professor Ibbo Mandaza, and we cross to him now in Zimbabwe. Professor, thank you very much for joining us. A historic moment. The last time we spoke, we weren't 100% sure how things would progress. We talked about Emmerson Mnangagwa being fired, and you said that it's business as usual. But in a short space of time, the whole complexity, the whole complexion of Zimbabwe has changed.
Yes, of course, how dynamic things are, but there are still uncharted waters ahead. One, we don't know whether this means constitutionally that Mpoko takes over the constitution. Secondly, we don't know whether this is to Zuma as with tomorrow with the Angolan counterpart.
All right, let's start with the images that we're seeing now and the euphoria on the streets now. How would you describe the emotion that Zimbabweans are feeling now? What does it represent?
Well, I'm not in Harare. I'm in Joburg.
Okay, but you would understand.
But, I'm not surprised. Oh, yes. So on the one hand, there's always been the expectation that Mugabe would go, and the population is happy about that. But they are less cognizant of the implications now than to go ahead, the road ahead. And for some of us, that is what's worrying now.
So if Emmerson Mnangagwa arrives tomorrow, surely Parliament can deal with those administrative issues?
It's not possible. Constitutionally, it's Mpoko who gets in.
Is Mpoko even in the country?
If Emmerson Mnangagwa gets in, well, he can come back in the country.
Is he there though?
I don't know.
All right,
I'm just saying constitutionally, I'm just setting the constitution. The constitutionally, if the president dies or resigns, the last acting president becomes president, and that's Mpoko.
All right, so let's assume that he's not in the country. What happens then? Who takes over? Who's the next most senior person?
There is nobody.
So we're actually in
because constitutionally, there is no, Emerson is not there anymore.
But ZANU-PF was saying, that he was unconstitutionally removed.
No, it's not true. Who interprets? I just asked me the constitutional position. The constitution is very clear. I put it out to you.
So,
whether that happens is another matter.
So, Mr. Mandaza, are we saying that right now we have a critical vacuum if Mpoko doesn't arrive?
Yes, we have. Yes, the only official position is that one, Mpoko is the next acting president. Two, constitutional Emerson Mnangagwa is not a vice president.
Okay. Professor Ibbo Mandaza, thank you very much indeed for your insights. So perhaps some big constitutional issues that need to be answered, but these people on the streets won't care a jot about that. Yeah. They are focused on the good news. I'm seeing on Twitter now, it's a buzz. There's a young guy who says, I've been waiting since I was 13 years old for this moment to happen. And so for them, they'll deal with the constitutional issues a little bit later on. But today, this is the story of Zimbabwe.
Just to clarify that, the deputy should take over. And of course, Emerson Mnangagwa, who is the successor, has been fired. That's the possible constitutional issue. And we'll unpack everything going forward. We'll take a short break and more to come.